Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gore Call, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, happy to have him again, Don Bubar, President and CEO of Avalon Advanced Materials, trades in Canada, AVL, for friends in the US, AVLNF. For those of you who've been following what's happening in lithium, this recent McKinsey, one of the biggest consulting firms in the world, article kind of sums it up. Lithium demand will rise from approximately 500,000 metric tons of lithium carbonate equivalent in 2021 to 3 to 4 million metric tons by 2030. Lithium is the driving force behind electric vehicles, but will supply keep pace with demand? New technologies and source of supply can fill the gap. That's where Avalon comes in, guys, because they're the 100% owner of the Separation Rapids Lithium project, the world's largest undeveloped known resource of the rare lithium petalite. And it's also the only large-scale petalite resource and potential new supplier not under China control. And as a result of that, they're taking that asset. They're in the process of establishing Ontario's first regional lithium battery materials refinery in Thunder Bay. They're going to create a regional lithium battery metal supply chain, and that's supported via Ontario's critical minerals strategy. On top of that, they're on the verge of putting this massive asset to work thanks to 2 deals already in place. They've entered into an offtake agreement for petalite concentrates from a major international glass ceramics manufacturer. It's a multiple-year contract with a major non-Chinese international glass ceramics manufacturer. And the second one, LG Energy Solutions, to supply them with battery-grade lithium hydroxide starting in 2025. And they're a leading global manufacturer of lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles and energy storage systems. And the news today, because with all that happening, new leadership to help the company propel even forward, the company has appointed Zishan Syed as the new president of the company. Here to talk about that is the man that has been Avalon for the last 25 years, Don Bubar. Welcome back, my friend.
28 years now.
20, hasn't it gone by in a blink, huh?
Yep.
But you've been on top of it, Don. If I give you credit for one thing, you were on Separation Rapids when you and I met back in 2004, 2005, somewhere in there, and you've been right on top of it. You must be excited about lithium now about to enter its real golden age for the next 10, 20 years, maybe even longer, right?
Yes, we are. It took a long time, but our time has finally come with the Separation Rapids Lithium project.
So you brought in a great person to propel the company next stage, because you've done all the hard lifting to get here. I give you credit for that. I've always said that. You stuck to your guns. Let's discuss his experience, because in the press release you say highly experienced in the emerging new sector of critical mineral supply chains, especially lithium battery materials. Give us just an indication of his experience and why it's going to be so valuable to Avalon.
Well, I've been working with him closely for the last few years, and he's been very attentive and willing to learn about different aspects of our business going forward. So he's right up to speed now.
And you said that he was instrumental in the company's major international, in some of the discussions of strategic commercial relations with some major national strategic partners. So he was right there in lockstep with you, right? So it's going to be easy for him to kind of transition and really manage those relationships, correct?
Yes. He knows them well now, and he's been leading all of the negotiations with them.
That's great, Don. That's great to see such a great succession plan. And again, credit to you, because sometimes the biggest failure of companies is a failure to put in a succession plan, because the founders like you and I maybe overstay our welcome sometimes. We don't bring in the new blood. So I give you a lot of credit. What does this management change mean for the projects going forward in terms of the priorities, if at all? Maybe there is no change, but how do you see the priorities of the projects moving forward?
Well, obviously, our Separation Rapids Lithium project is our top priority for obvious reasons.
Of course.
And we're now getting lots and lots of interest from international glass ceramic manufacturers because there's a global shortage of the rare mineral petalite.
In fact, there's a press release. I saw some news you've probably seen the last couple of days. I'm going to read a headline. China clamps down on illegal lithium mining, and that's apparently shut off 10% of the supply right now. Is that a new supply problem that's actually a benefit to Avalon, but is that a new supply issue, just another one that adds to the supply crunch on the lithium side?
Yeah, for sure. So we want to basically serve both the glass ceramics market and the battery materials market. And that's why we want to establish a regional facility because in Thunder Bay, because there's no shortage of lithium pegmatites in northwestern Ontario.
And a lot of people think lithium, they think obviously electric vehicle batteries, which of course is, but you're one of the only companies I know that really beats down the fact that the glass ceramics market is a major market. And I'm going to read, the global glass industry represents 25 to 30% of global lithium demand and is valued over $100 billion. That's a monster market that very few people are talking about, but Avalon has the edge there, right? You guys are actually signing these deals with international ceramics manufacturers.
Yes, and it's because we have a unique resource enriched in petalite, the very high purity lithium aluminosilicate mineral that has always been the preferred way to introduce lithium into the batch formulation.
What's the status of, I mentioned during my intro, you've got an offtake agreement for petalite concentrates with a major international glass ceramics manufacturer. Any update on that and where that relationship is?
Well, yeah, we continue to have dialogue with them, but every major glass ceramic manufacturer in the world now is begging us for the product.
Jeez Louise. I mean, for you to say those words, begging you for it.
Traditional supply source in Zimbabwe, and now there's a global shortage.
Don, realistically, when do you think you can actually address that demand? What ballpark, just to let people know at home, when do you think you might be able to start addressing that demand through Separation Rapids?
Well, hopefully we'll be able to get the ball rolling this summer. We're planning to install a demonstration scale DMS plant because that one Japanese company prefers that it get made with dense media separation processes because they don't want any chemical residues on the petalite particles. And so that's a good way to get the ball rolling because you always have to start off by providing trial quantities of the product to the end users that have expressed interest so they can test it and make sure it's going to perform adequately.
So you ship some samples to George Calm Glass Ceramics. Typically, what does that testing phase look like on my end? Because you're right, I have to test it with my manufacturing process, my products, make sure it fits. Ballpark, how long does that usually take, Don? Do you have an indication of how long that testing might take place?
Well, it's a matter now of we've been working with a major European company to produce the concentrates and distribute them to the end users that have expressed interest, but it's been a slow process.
When do you think you move from demonstration facility to bigger, more full production facility?
Hopefully it'll be in 2 years or so.
All right. So can those international glass ceramics manufacturers wait that long? Because you're saying they're literally begging you right now. And does that drive them, Don? I have to think outside the box here, but my intuition says George Calm Glass Ceramics manufacturer maybe wants it so bad that he's willing to become some kind of a strategic partner and help finance and or something to move it along faster. Is that also potentially happening?
Yeah, we do have a very influential strategic partner that wants to collaborate with us on creating this new Petalite supply chain.
Okay, well, that sounds like something we may hear about in the future. That sounds exciting, especially when you say a really influential one. I'm curious to see, because the first one you weren't able to tell us the name, but we just knew it was a major national glass ceramics manufacturer. I'm curious as to who else is coming to the door, but I guess if we all did some due diligence on Google, we wouldn't be far to find out who the biggest, glass ceramics manufacturers are around the world. LG Energy, since we're talking about the status of relationship, LG Energy Solution, how is that relationship going? How's that agreement going?
It's coming along too. Zishan is in frequent dialogue with them as well. And they're looking to collaborate with another strategic investing partner.
And that's not scheduled to start until 2025, right? That's when you're hoping to start supplying battery grade lithium hydroxide in 2025. Does it look like you guys are still on track with that?
Well, it might take 3 years now to get it started.
Right, but
we're optimistic that we'd be able to acquire the property last year, but it's taken a long time to get the deal closed.
And which property is that?
It's the industrial site on the waterfront in Thunder Bay.
Yeah, you need that you need that to actually start for the supply chain. You need that to actually start transporting the stuff.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you can get through that little hurdle. That'll and let us know when that happens. Don, what's going to be your role in the transition of the company here? It looks like you're going to stay on as CEO until the end of the year. What if any is going to be your role after that?
Well, I may well continue on the board of directors so I can continue to support our aspirations on creating the new lithium supply chains.
And by the way, how's that looking? I mean, that's a big one, right? How are your aspirations for how's the reality looking of those aspirations to establish the first lithium battery metal supply chain in Ontario? Because that would be unbelievable legacy for you.
It's looking very good now. We have the interest to support our aspirations, and there's lots and lots of government grant money available too to support our aspirations.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get an update on that sometime in the near future. I mean, not trying to pin you down on dates, but is that something that investors might see here, an update on in Q2 or Q3 ballpark? Do you have a sense of when we might see further news on that?
Hopefully it'll be sometime later this month.
So it seems like things are really moving along quickly, hey, Don, and I guess that speaks to the fact that the world needs your product and people are moving mountains literally to make it happen, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's the most critical material needed in lithium-ion battery technology.
Well, Don, like I said, I give you full credit because when we first started talking about Separation Rapids, lithium back before in the 2006, 2007 time period, you're way ahead of the trend. Since then, I remember so many people were jumping around to the different hot metal of the day. I remember all those metals that were hot, and then companies were jumping into them and promoting their stocks, but nothing ever came of any of them. And you never wavered. You stuck to your guns. You knew the importance lithium was going to play in the future of so many industries. And you're here, and you deserve all the credit that's going to come to your legacy for being the guy who's going to establish the supply chain in Ontario.
Well, thanks, George. We'll get it done.
Don, great seeing you here via Zoom, and I'm sure a lot of your shareholders are going to see you in person at the PDAC. So I'll be seeing you there as well. We'll take a nice picture together, post up for everyone to see. But until then, my friend, have a great day, and congratulations on what you've done. as a shareholder, I'll say how you position the company on behalf of all shareholders. It's just amazing what you've done in the next 3 years. Is just going to be a great ride, and we can't wait to watch it happen.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you doing another interview.
Don, always, my friend. You and I go back a long way. You and I were pioneers when we first doing podcasts. You'd come into my office and we'd be recording with 2 microphones, and then posting it online. And do you remember how investors just loved that because people didn't understand all these metals and rare metals and the future, these metals of the future. Remember that was your tagline. And I think we did such a great job together. And now for you and I to be Zooming like this, next level. Hey, at some point I may even create an avatar for you. So it'll be our 2 avatars maybe next year talking to each other. And we'll really have gone to the future.
Well, great. We'll get Zishan involved in that too.
Yeah. Can't wait to have him on the next one, and can't wait to meet him at the Avalon booth. Thanks, Don, for joining us. Have an amazing day, my friend.
Thank you.
Day by home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Don Bubar, the lithium legend. He's the president and CEO of Avalon Advanced Materials, trades in Canada under AVL, in the US under AVLNF. And in fact, I got to correct that. CEO right now because we have a new president. He's a CEO, but there's the company stock symbols. And for those who are new to the story, discovering, hey, I didn't know about Avalon. How do I find out more? Start your due diligence on Agoracom. Get to the company's profile page because we got the story neatly laid out there for you to really understand, because this is so important and it's so big and there's so many moving parts. We've got neatly laid out for you. And then once you've got that foundational knowledge, head over to the Avalon website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.
Bye now.
Hey guys, the video's over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you never miss another great Agoracom small cap video.